be a stark contrast to Max's because I have no photos. So thanks for the introduction. It's so great to be with all of you on a Friday night and it's raining. So I think that just speaks volumes to the commitment level and the kinds of people, the passion that we have in this room. So that's fantastic. As Fatima mentioned, my background is a little bit untraditional. I come from the corporate sector. So I have years of experience working in corporate finance and consulting, where I helped different companies of all sizes scale up their operations, use finance to grow. I then transitioned to public policy and worked in Canadian politics for a number of years. I was working on the zero emission vehicle transition file, so doing a lot of work in the energy space and working with companies at the Federal Economic Development Agency to help them scale, help them remodel their business plans so that they were more sustainable and more in alignment with government policies. And then now, in my current role, I work at Enedym Inc, which is a clean tech electric motor manufacturing company based here in Hamilton. So we've created, not me, but the engineers, an electric motor that doesn't use any permanent magnets or rare earth metals. So the goal there is to change the energy paradigm, hence the name. So we do a lot of work in the energy space there, and then I'm a student here at McMaster. I'm in the management department, but my thesis is focused on scaling interventions. So I come solely from an industry background, and I think to a lot of what Max was saying, you can start local, you can find your own niche, find what you're passionate in, and from there you can find ways to interact with other agencies, with the United Nations, and go from there. So I've given a lot of different presentations at different events with the United Nations, mostly in a research capacity. But a lot of the work I do in industry is really focused on how do we mobilize the private sector to get capital to where capital needs to go. And so, like Fatima mentioned, I'm driven every day by the idea that finance is a really powerful tool for driving change. So how do we get there and where can you guys start? It really does start with local action. So as I mentioned, my work focuses primarily on 3 of the SDGs, so 7, 9, and 17, clean and affordable energy, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and partnerships for the goals, specifically how do we finance the goals. And I do that through a few different ways. So in a lot of my work, I advise companies of all sizes on how to scale their operations and make them more sustainable. We build public-private partnerships to make sure that our economic and energy transitions are inclusive for all, that we're leaving nobody behind. We establish frameworks in doing that work. And then on the more grassroots level, so I do a lot of research with McMaster and different agencies, and we founded a youth council right here in Hamilton with a few of the politicians that was bipartisan, that was focused on mobilizing action around the SDGs here in Hamilton. So in all of the experiences that I've had and all the research that I've done, I've really been able to draw this conclusion, and that's that development is not just about growth. It's about who benefits from that growth and how we can build the systems and put them in place that make sure we're including everyone and not excluding any population. So these are a few of the questions we answer here at our work at McMaster. Next slide. But in terms of some of the lessons that I've learned and what I hope to pass down to you guys, scaling development, and when we're thinking about how we can solve some of these challenges that we're facing today, it really starts with understanding how interconnected all of our issues really are. And we need to rely on that interdependence between economic growth, social equity, and environmental protection, and we can't work in silos. So when you look at how we've been scaling development efforts across the world, a lot of the time you find different organizations, different bodies working individually on certain issues. And so what we're trying to focus on is how do we bring everyone together through partnerships to make sure that we're able to replicate and scale those interventions in an effective way. So we're going to talk about partnerships in the panel, so I won't focus too much on that. But my advice to you really is just a few key things. The first is that what I've learned working with the United Nations is that people want to collaborate. People want to work together. They want to help you out. If you have a passion or something that you want to contribute to, don't be afraid to reach out, even if it's cold emails. I've also done a lot of that. And every so often you do get a response, and that leads you to your next thing. So don't be afraid to reach out if somebody's work inspires you. if there's anything to kind of take from my path, it's that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to doing development work or to getting to the United Nations. As long as you're passionate about whatever it is that you've chosen and what your niche is, the opportunities come once you put your hand up, ask questions, get yourself into the rooms, and things kind of flow from there. Yeah, and then we'll talk about the rest later, just to save time. So one thing I want to leave you guys with, and hopefully by the time you leave here today, this will be something that you think of. A great way for you to get started is to think about, what problem do I care enough about that I really want to find solutions to, and go from there. Because you're going to find people who also care about those solutions as well, and finding those solutions, and then that's how movements start.